this is the second part of our eBay video. We are going to show you guys how to ship a DVD. That's the only thing we have to sell at this moment in time. So we're just going to show you step-by-step process, and hopefully it's easy and understandable. First things first, you're going to make sure that you're signed into eBay, which we are automatically already signed in. We have it defaulted to that on our computer. In the top right hand corner there is a My eBay drop down. Just click on the words My eBay. Over here on your left you have your summary and your selling manager. The fifth drop down on selling manager is sold, and you're going to want to click on sold. And here is the DVD that we are going to be packaging up. You're going to want to make sure that it is the correct title. Here you can see in the columns there's the sale price. We sold it for $7.99. The buyer paid $10.71, so that just means that they paid for shipping. And if you look all the way to the right under actions, there's a print shipping highlighter. Click on that. So here is the title of the item you're going to be shipping. You want to make sure that it matches up with what you have in your hand, because you do not want to accidentally ship something to the wrong or ship something wrong to the buyer, and I have done that before, so trust me on this to make sure it matches up with what you're holding in your hand. Over here to the right you can see how much the buyer paid for shipping. They paid $2.72. If you come down here, that's exactly what they paid for. To the left you have a drop down, and it's an option of either USPS or FedEx. Again, we only use USPS. Because the DVD we are shipping is a learning device or learning material, you can use media mail. You can only use media mail if it is books, like as far as encyclopedias or Reader's Digest, like informational stuff. Same with DVDs. Like for instance, you cannot ship a video game under media mail. The United States Postal Service will sometimes open random packages on media mail, and if they find out that you are shipping something that's not informational, they will fine you for that. And they could possibly take away what you've got going on here. So only use media mail when it's informational. I promise you, you will not regret that. If it's not media mail and it's a DVD, you're going to want to use the first class package, because most likely a DVD will not weigh more than 13 ounces, and first class packages are only meant for 13 ounces or less. But in this case, we are going to stick with media mail because it is informational. So we're going to go right down here to our food scale. We're going to see how much the DVD weighs, and it is at 5.6 ounces. Okay? So then you're going to take your little package or your little envelope that you're sticking it in. Because it's a DVD, we are going to be wrapping it in some bubble wrap. Got to protect it. We have little thank you cards that we printed off of Vistaprint. This is totally optional. We just do it because it's a little personalization for the buyer, and we've had great feedback on that. We have 99% positive feedback, and all it says is thank you for your purchase. If you like the service, please feel free to leave positive feedback, and that's it. On the back, if you want to write something personal, you can, but this is, again, totally optional. In the very beginning, all we did was write on a sticky note, like a little personal note, and then we said, hey, why don't we do this? So anyway, again, that's optional. We just stick it right in with our product and wrap the product up kind of nice and neat. I'm not the best wrapper in the world, but I don't think I do that bad of a job. Now the bubble wrap will add some weight to your product, so definitely don't adjust the weight on the computer until you have it completely packaged. So here we have, it's protected in the bubble wrap. Obviously you're going to stick it in the bag, and because it's so tiny and the bag is so large, I typically fold the bag over. And these bags come with a self-adhesive stick. going to fold it over onto there. And even though it has a self-stick, we are going to also tape this product, just in case, just in case. So now that you have it completely packaged up, we are going to reweigh the item. And it is at 6.3 ounces. You're always going to round up to the next whole number because it only goes by whole numbers. It doesn't go by point, like 6.3. It has to go by 7 ounces. So then if you go to the computer, there's an option where you can change the weight and dimensions. And we're going to change that to 7 because the item weighed at 6.3. Calculate. And sometimes it'll change, sometimes it won't change the price. In this case, it did not change the price. So after you change the ounces, you can see that medium mill did not change. However, this is when you can use your brain a little bit and get you an extra 20 cents or so. Since it is not over 13 ounces, remember we were talking between medium mill and first class package. If you look up to first class package, it is cheaper than medium mill. Even though this is informational, you can still use it as first class. And it's even though it's cheaper for us, we get that extra 20 cents or whatever. See how the medium mill takes 2 to 9 days? The buyer will even possibly get it faster, 2 to 5 days. So we are going to choose first class package, and you're going to want to save. Now, the buyer did pay $2.72. There is a little box here that is going to be sometimes checked or not, and what that does is display this price on the sticker that's going to be on the package the buyer is going to be getting. If I may suggest, if it's cheaper than what they paid, to have the box unchecked, because that's going to show that they paid more for the shipping than what it was actually printed as, if that makes sense. So just basically always keep that unmarked for me, just to be safe. Now you're going to want to purchase the postage, so you just click that. So my hand is only covering our addresses because that's private. I don't want you to see where we live or where the buyer lives. But once you click purchase postage, this is what pops up. And it just says that we have deducted the shipping from your PayPal account. And even though it's deducted from our PayPal account, remember the buyer paid for shipping, we didn't. So it'll adjust itself in PayPal. So here is the label, and you're just going to print the label and click OK. I always go back to my eBay. And I'm going to go back to sold. And if you look over here, there's an option to leave feedback for the buyer. Now, if the buyer completely just randomly bought this item from you, it's always good to give them positive feedback, like if they did no emailing back and forth of haggling, like trying to get you to go lower on their price or whatever. But we always leave pretty much positive feedback. We don't really have much issues with buyers. You can choose a already generated response for feedback for them, but we always like to personalize it a little bit. Typically what I write is, thank you for the quick and pain-free transaction. And then I'll put great buyer. The feedback for them just tells other sellers like us that they're responsible and that they'll pay their item on time. Sometimes people will buy your item but not pay for the item until 3 days later, which kind of sucks sometimes. So when they automatically pay like this really quick, just make sure you leave them great feedback. So after you type your personal feedback, if that's an option you want to do, you just hit leave feedback. So I'm going to cover the addresses again. This is the label. You can buy label papers, like label stickies to put on the packages, but we found that to be kind of expensive over time, especially when you're selling a lot. And the label packages has 2 big labels on one sheet, but we found just using paper is a lot cheaper, and you cut it in half. Like we've already sold one item, which is on this side. So I cut it in half and stick this back in the printer, and it prints on this half. And then all we do is just cut out the box and tape it to the package. So that's what I'm going to do right now. And then you just tape it to the package. We have found out that your mail carrier that delivers your mail every day to your mailbox will pick up packages if they are small enough to fit in your mailbox. So this will fit in our mailbox, so all we do is stick it in the mailbox and put the flag up, and it's gone. It's out of our hands and the USPS hands. If you know what time your mail carrier comes and you have a box, I've actually sat out and waited for them to come because I didn't have the option to go to the post office that day, and she took the box right out of my hands. So typically, that's the easiest option, and you don't waste gas to go to the post office. But that is how you ship an item, and hopefully it was very understandable and easy to follow along with. If you guys have any questions, please comment below and we'll be happy to respond. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. It will always be the very first photo in the edited photos.
So we're just going to use the first one since it shows the
whole thing.
Yeah, at a good angle, if you will.
Okay, so once you've got your photos, you'll go back to the listing, which is on the top left. The next thing you want to do is check the category and make sure that it's in the correct category. Usually the person that you have copied this from should have it already in there, but you just want to double check. The condition, you have new, other, or used. This is a used, so we checked used.